Better, cheaper, faster. Those have always been the goals. But as AI transforms the way we work, the real question is, are your business processes intelligent? Welcome to the Efficiency Lounge, where we bring you straight talk from industry leaders on AI adoption, implementation, and measurable business impacts. Welcome to the Efficiency Lounge podcast. My name is Natasha, owner of Sheeps's AI, and I'm very excited to talk to Ryan Walker, CEO of General Legal today. Hi, Ryan.
Hi, Natasha. Thanks so much for having me on. Excited for the conversation.
So tell us a little bit about General Legal, what you guys do, and how it came about.
General Legal is a new kind of law firm. We have taken best-in-class AI platform and implementation that we created and put that underneath very experienced attorneys that come from top law firms, from great in-house counsel organizations, and combining these great attorneys with cutting-edge AI implementation allows them to massively scale their practice efficiency. And so we're able to take these efficiency gains that we have with our attorneys and turn those into new ways of delivering legal services to clients. We have over 500 clients. They run from small startups up to early stage public companies. And they use us for a variety of legal services. But everything we do at a fixed flat rate. You know exactly what you're going to pay up front. You get your service turned around typically in the same day, if not within just a couple of hours. And you have real attorneys who are backing the quality of this work. They come from these great firms and they're there to really stand behind this work product. And that looks really different from what legal services look like from most traditional law firms. We are the founders of General Legal. We've been in the legal tech space for a long time. We all came from a company called Casetext. Casetext built the first AI assistant for attorneys. We sold Casetext to Thomson Reuters a couple years ago and have since started General Legal because we think that changes in how legal is getting done are not coming fast enough. We want to see legal services opened up to more and more businesses. And now through technology, it's possible to change what legal services looks like and scale out the access to these things.
That's definitely a game changer, and I'm sure future customers would appreciate having that flat rate as opposed to being billed by the hour. I read online that your company has been designated as approved for the Y Combinator program. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? And congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. We went through Y Combinator earlier this year, and so we actually graduated in March. Y Combinator is a well-known startup accelerator that really helps early companies get off the ground, get their first customers, and build a truly fantastic experience for us and helped us to grow very quickly and mature the product very quickly.
Going back to your company services and the launch of the company, what got you involved in AI?
I'm actually not a lawyer. My two co-founders are lawyers. I'm a mathematician. And so I studied applications of math that are closely related to kind of how AI is built and deployed. Because to me, legal seemed like the most obvious place for people who are interested in how things like natural language processing and AI can have a really significant impact on the world. Almost my entire professional career now has been devoted to making legal practice more efficient through the application of technology. I've been through several different waves of AI capabilities at this point, and ultimately, we're now at a place where what you can do with the latest models is truly astonishing and able to take an attorney and make them 100 times more effective than similarly talented traditional attorneys who aren't using AI.
And do you ever run up against challenges trying to serve customers in different jurisdictions when you're delivering AI services?
So as a law firm, there are obviously certain restrictions on, there's certain requirements to have attorneys that have licenses in certain jurisdictions. That's simple for us to navigate. We practice in areas where we have attorneys who have the right licenses for those jurisdictions, and we practice in practice areas where we can reasonably cover those jurisdictions. Over time, though, true full service law firm that is able to practice not just in the US, but internationally, has to have folks who are licensed in all of the places that you want to operate in. That's where we hope to get to as we grow.
So where are your main service areas right now?
Right now, we serve corporate clients. So when it comes to contract law, there are, tend to be a smaller number of jurisdictions where we need to have coverage. So we can support folks across the US when it comes to corporate matters, and we can assist folks internationally as well. There are cases where you may need local counsel to provide localized expertise, but we can advise in those cases without overstepping our capability. We always tell people when they need localized counsel that we can't provide.
Great. So do you ever have to send anything to bar associations to get approval to do what you're doing?
Legal practice is regulated, and only certain people are able to provide legal advice, and you want that kind of regulation in place. It ensures that when you work with an attorney that you're getting somebody who is accountable for the work they do for you. And so we follow those regulations very closely, especially things like advertising, making sure that the person who is your legal counsel is, in fact, barred to practice law in the jurisdiction that you need them to practice in. And by following those kind of rules, you can operate well within those kind of boundaries. And I think in many ways, AI doesn't change what it means to follow the rules. It's just the kind of scale of what it looks like is evolving.
On your website, you mentioned there are free open source models founders can use from your company. Can you talk more about that?
Yeah. So we have a belief that, our job is not to hoard knowledge and treat knowledge as the core thing that we provide. And so where we can create templates or other assets that companies can use to conduct their business, we produce those and we put those out, and we think those help, and we think those are extremely valuable to the companies we serve. But they're also helpful to us in the sense that, we put our work out there so people can see the kind of quality that our firm produced. Legal is a high trust industry. You want lawyers who clearly and demonstratively know what they're doing when they practice. And so we try to make as much of our content as makes sense available for people to use. And ultimately, you engage a firm like General Legal, not for some secret template they have behind the scenes that they can just fill out for you that you could potentially fill out yourself. You're engaging them for the deep expertise that they have, the ability to advise you on how to negotiate, to tell you what's a fair deal and what's not, and where you should push back and where you might be willing to compromise. We've got lots of things that we put out for businesses to use. I think one of the ones I'm the most proud of is this template library. You go to the website. We have, I think it's now over 50 very valuable legal templates for different kinds of agreements that companies need in the course of their life cycle. This is work that, we believe, over the life of a company could save them hundreds of thousands of dollars in legal fees. And we just think these templates should be out there and people should be able to get to them, consult with their own lawyers on how to use those templates effectively.
Very commendable, by the way. So thank you for letting us know that information. So if you want access to that, where can they go to find that information?
They just go to general.legal, and you can look on our resources page there. You'll see this great template library.
In other news, the UN just met on AI governance, and the world is starting to talk about what regulation should be put in place to make sure that there's some governance and compliance around the use of AI in business? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think this is a really interesting signal about how governments, how people are thinking about the risks and challenges of AI. It doesn't seem like anything definitive came out of that conference, like in terms of regulations that are on the horizon, but I think it gives you a little bit of a behind the scenes look at where thinking is going on how AI should be governed in the future. I think one of the things that stands out that I'm the most excited about, that I think is a great approach, is the kind of demand for traceability, right? If you're a company and you're using AI to provide your services, being able to show exactly how those services were put together, what's happening with the data that's being used to create those services, and being able to act transparently and being required to understand your AI supply chain. I think that's one of the things that really stands out, that increasingly we'll all have to be able to account for how AI is used to shape the products we deliver to people.
Awesome. Can you talk more about any challenges you're seeing with AI adoption in the legal sector?
Sure. Yeah, legal has always been a slow adopter of technology. It took a long time to get law firms to start using email, for example, right? And there are a number of examples of legal being slow to take on what's new in the world, even when it could lead to significant time savings, significant cost savings for clients. I'd say the biggest challenge that I see, and the reason we started General Legal, is when it comes especially to big firms that serve businesses, we are not seeing AI get adopted into workflows. And it's really consequential because you can now do legal work much, much more efficiently. We're talking something like 10 times more efficiently, or sometimes even 100 times more efficiently. That is very consequential to clients. It should mean that your legal bills should be going way, way down. You should be getting work back faster. You should be getting better quality work. You should be getting legal service that is more integrated into your business. And we just aren't seeing that by and large, especially from larger legal organizations. I think that comes from several things. I think there is some conservatism when it comes to legal organizations to embrace technology. And I think in that landscape, it's hard to figure out your own strategy. And it's especially hard when you also, on the other hand, have to reckon with the incentive structure that's really starting to change, right? Clients are not going to tolerate you not being as efficient as you possibly can.
Thank you for that insight. So, do you have any advice for entrepreneurs trying to scale their business either with or without AI?
Yeah, I think, especially when we're talking about things like growth, you have to be careful when it comes to how you use AI. I think you should certainly use AI. You should be putting AI into all parts of your business. I think I see sort of the worst uses of AI in the way people try to sell services to other people. I think, we're all so inundated with marketing that's just generated like slop marketing from AI bots. It's really hard to, reach people with those kinds of it's hard to reach anybody anymore because the world is full of these very robotic conversations. We're seeing wild things, like now it seems as though the majority of internet traffic is in fact AI bots doing something, collecting data, accessing services, right? So we're really starting to see this kind of world that's full of AI. And so I think for things like really growing your business, you have to figure out what's the right balance of AI efficiency and human touch on top of that. It's actually not so different for what we think great legal service looks like, right? We're not eliminating lawyers from providing legal service. We're actually just taking really good lawyers and making sure that they can operate very, very efficiently, but they're still in the driver's seat. They're still part of the delivery process. I think that's the hard part of extracting these efficiency gains from these tools, is figuring out how do AI and humans work together to provide great experiences, great, great sales, great marketing, great, service, great product delivery.
Thank you so much for being on the show today. Do you have any last words for our audience?
No, thank you so much for having me. It is a really exciting time to be working with AI tools and figuring out how do we calibrate the kind of human involvement alongside of this ever-growing presence of AI capabilities.
Great, great. And before we close, where can the people reach you if they want to contact you?
It's very easy. We named the company General Legal. I think it reflects our ambition about what we're up to. Our website is just general.legal.
Great. Easy to remember. All right, folks, that wraps up the second episode of the Efficiency Lounge podcast. Ryan Walker, thank you for attending. We appreciate you. And thank you for listening. Take care, folks.